I'm a rather simple individual. Give me a long-running serialized anime featuring a cheeky, sly sleuth of a protagonist and their escapades, and I'll be down to chill for basically all eternity. Goofy studs, wacky sneaks, etc. You know the type. That character cast is typically all I require for surface level interest peaks, and a good romp. So, to jump straight into it, it is by no means a stunning revelation that I am a big fan of a City Hunter. A swift preamble regarding the series. For those unaware, City Hunter is a detective action comedy manga turned anime adaptation that follows the titular City Hunter, Ryo Saiba, and his partner in trade, Kaori Makamura, as they are employed to help with various odd jobs that are basically all crime-related around the late 80s city of Tokyo. Written and illustrated by Tsukasa Hojo following his success in the manga Cat's Eye, it began in 1985 within a little-known weekly Japanese manga magazine before spanning into a rather restrained multimedia franchise. A couple series, spin-offs, J-dramas, K-dramas, and the typical commercially significantly successful Chinese in origin action film featuring Jackie Chan in the lead role as a titillating city hunter. You know, the standard multimedia anime shtick. He's out of town, out of time, and out of his depth? What the fuck is this? The series' main draw for me, the anime, began airing in the anime jam-packed year of 1987. It ran for 4 seasons across 6 years and, while not setting the world on fire, did leave quite a lasting impact as a good serialized com-dram. For evidence of this lasting remembrance in Japan's otaku culture, take a look no further than the baffling highest-selling item on Yahoo Japan auctions in 2007, a show-accurate replica hammer signed by the writer, Hojo himself, that went for a whopping 1,832,000 yen, which is roughly $17,150. The show expels charm, drama laughs, all the while showcasing some awesome city poppy arty sounds, immaculate vibes, and compelling ventures galore. 'Tis a bop of a show that I love to just pop on as a TV companion. Fun and simple. Well, excluding any poorly aged, lecherous, womanizing behaviors that Ryo puts forth. All in all, 'tis a breath of fresh fun that I implore you to check out if any of what I've said sounds at least a little bit entertaining. Anyway, preamble aside and established, time to focus on none of that priorly mentioned interesting, irrelevant, extending media. Rather, I will be taking a focus on what is probably considered uninteresting, irrelevant media. That being the one and only video game adventure for Ryo & Co., City Hunter for the PC Engine. Preamble some more, because it's fun, let's face it. Let's look at the impact City Hunter has had on the total video game market as a whole. Oh, the fuck, I guess. Yeah. I thought there'd be more. As a franchise, City Hunter may have been quite successful and left its mark upon the history of anime and otaku culture throughout East Asia, but it hasn't done nearly as much so in terms of any aspects of the video game market. At all. Across the span of its 30-year existence, City Hunter has been aligned with video games a measly 4 times. For clear reference, that's less than fucking Doritos licensed games. And what's more, you can barely count half of those as actual City Hunter games. There's 1988's first Shonen Jump crossover game on the Famicom, 2019's Shonen Jump crossover, an obligatory lost Japanese phone game, and a solitary full tie-in game that relishes on the PC Engine. An aptly titled City Hunter PC Engine. City Hunter for the PC Engine was developed by a licensed fanatic of a game company, Sunsoft. They had quite an extensive experience in the field, with their having worked on Batman on the Famicom, Batman on the Game Boy, Batman on the Sega Mega Drive, Batman on the PC Engine, Fester's Quest on the NES, and of course Batman Return of the Joker on the Mega Drive. I must emphasize, these are all different games. Especially Fester's Quest. I know you would have been confused on that one. It's not entirely clear to me why they were chosen to be entrusted with the City Hunter license, but I can understand, as I would trust anybody who's worked with Batman so many times. Oh, and if you're a tad bit curious as to how they're doing in this day and age, well, let me show you. Yeah, some things never change. Of all the reasons to go down, however, theirs is probably the most tragic. As, according to former Sunsoft director and producer Renee Boughton, due to their parent company's poor golf course investments in Palm Springs, Florida, in February of 1995, the entire staff was suddenly called in for a meeting, where Sunsoft's president promptly announced that the company was shutting down effective immediately. What a cruel send-off. They didn't even survive long enough as a company to witness the developer hellscape that exists today. Blessing? A curse? Who knows? Alright, I should probably actually talk about the game itself. Because that was fucking point. Oh, hell yeah, it's on the PC Engine, the embodiment of anime on PC. What this means is that the game looks rather nice, actually. The opening is slick and immediately makes you feel as if you are stepping into the role of somebody actually playing a licensed City Hunter game. Which, needless to say, is a great mindset to actually play a licensed City Hunter game in. Jeez, what you point in that gallery? I think you've seen better days. The game begins in a neat way, actually, allowing the player to choose the order in which they wish to play the stories in. Stories are, for all intents and purposes, no more than standard levels, but still, having a level selection out of the gate was a wee bit of a nice surprise. Between 3 levels to choose, we have Going with the Beautiful Girl, Umibozo is Afraid of Cats, and Explosion, Dio and Psycho's Flight, up for grabs. I played in listed order, but as stated before, it doesn't matter a fuck at all, as the developers implicitly tell me to tell you, you do you. So now that we've finally gotten to the game, does it live up? Does it fulfill the anime's sly action, cheeky sleuth, sexy city stud? No. Yeah, as it turns out to turn out, this adaptation be nothing more than a door-opening simulator, disguised as a side-scrolling runner-gunner platformer with a gun. Surprisingly. It may look like your prototypical game with a gun, but trust me when I say, it blatantly lies. Sure, the on-screen gameplay may seem quite intensely running and gunny, as you do fight your fair influx of endlessly running and gunny baddies that seem hellbent on self-destruction, but don't be fooled. The main core of the gameplay entails nothing more than running up to every single door lining the walls and proceeding to check if the enclosed space is locked, vacant, or filled with a weirdly humanoid standing text box. The standing text boxes may sometimes give a key, or even a key card, but nothing more. With key and keycard acquisition, one progresses through the level gaining the ability to talk to more and more standing text boxes, which in turn allows you to open more and more doors. Thus, the running of the run gun is no more than a pretense for finding and gaining proximity to doors, and the gunning is no more than a pretense for the running, which serves as a pretense for nothing more than door-checking shenanigans. An utterly captivating gameplay loop, if I do say so myself. However, these door-checking shenanigans be where my complaints really begin and end, as there isn't much about elsewhere to whine in the game. In truth, City Hunter for the PC Engine is a rather competent, straightforward side-scroller featuring some quite unanticipatedly smooth gunning and jumping about. At least, as smooth as my frame-rate stuttered brain can comprehend and perceive.
This is your brain on
video gagami.
Any questions?
What I mean is that it feels good to play, which was the least of my expectations stepping foot in. I shouldn't have been that surprised, mind you, as I had just been coming off a playthrough of the ever-so-smooth Castlevania Rondo of the Bongo, which had just shattered my preconceived notions regarding the console as nothing more than a bygone janky piece of machine. I knew the capabilities, that the potential for greatness wasn't only there, but constantly present. That insanely good Castlevania game alone plays like a refined crystal, showcasing the possible potentiality of various... Hey! Whoa! I'm trying to defend you here! You can't just throw out slurs like that. But yes, from what I've checked out regarding other PC Engine titles, it isn't alone. It is one amongst a cave chock full of equally valued studded geodes. The game is a notable example showing that the PC Engine was, shocker, a rather enjoyable system. It was, in fact, my biases that were at fault, not the other way around. This is all to say, PC Engine games are rad, and City Hunter, just by fault of being created and refined for the PC Engine, locks in with those elsewhere rad fuck titles. Not to a T, but rather close. Another point regarding PC Engine quality were the sounds that were utilized and crunched through my speakers as I played the game. They are chip-tuned to all hell and back, adding to that arcadey vibe that the game was already putting forth. Each bullet gunshot out of the caliber has an echoey, bassy tone created within the chip that adds a weird amount of weight to the attack's power. In the music, although quite repetitive as I played the game in 2 sittings for like 40 minutes each, it is rather punchy and melodic. I dig it. Now, I don't know if this next part is true, however, I was talking to a friend about this chip-tuned bassy crunchiness, and they referenced that it was most likely a result of the Sunsoft sound. According to them, the Sunsoft sound be a result of Sunsoft's biggest and really only notable quality, sound design. Sunsoft were reportedly quite good at designing high-quality, weighty sound effects with whatever technology lay in front of them. Whether Famicom's Batman or Mega Drive's Speedy Gonzales, they were quite famous for having auditorily crisply designed sounds amongst each of their licensed creations. A little bit of an out-there thought, but perhaps this is why they were chosen to engage with the City Hunter license, as the anime itself is practically inseparable from the sounds of mid-80s music and the hustling and bustling of every car, person, and bullet echo within the effervescent Midnight City. Devs with good sound design skills and a show that relies on good sound design, I guess, make for a good pair. So I guess it's not too out there. As for the game itself, its age is honestly not that apparent. It isn't obtusely difficult, convoluted, confusing, or any bit of what I expected from a PC Engine game relinquishing away. Actually, not only is the game unpredatory in its mechanics, but it slides into the realm of quite forgiving and, God forbid, player-friendly. Each level seems to include at least 3 sources of infinite full healing throughout, alongside the implementation of bazooka-level heavy artillery for use. Extrinsically metacontextually, the game features an autosave feature, on top of an already included password function. So when one is shot an exorbitant amount of times, you put Indrio's powers to 0, they will not be forced to restart the level from scratch. Rather, all items previously acquired will remain intact along with the progress of each level. This makes completing each of the 3 levels rather quick and simple, mind you, each taking me no more than a rough 10-ish minutes once I figured out all the game's little niceties being presented. And let me tell you, that is quite the telling ease of difficulty, in being a person whose skills with video games are that comparable to the subtlety of using a weird alien horn as a metaphor for a dick. Once completing the 3rd level of your chosen path, the game opens up to one last area for exploration, a final level to complete the story. The level itself isn't any more difficult than the previous 3, except for the strange fact that it actually doesn't include a final boss. The other 3 each had a final boss, none of which fit in line with the tone of the show, but still include bosses nonetheless. I guess the developers just couldn't figure out how to continue upping the ante after their escalations from Robot, to Robot Tiger, to Robot Cyborg Ninja. All in all, a dumb fun time, which is perfect for me, as this game be a game I engaged with when I was feeling rather listless coming off completing my first ever project. Perhaps that helped the title serve as more of a coping mechanism turned video idea upping my opinion of it, but it doesn't really matter. City Hunter for the PC Engine is all it's cracked up to be and no more, which is fine because as it stands, it needn't be. If you, like me, enjoy the sly cheeky city studs escapades, I'd recommend giving it a short go, as, the game doesn't require a full-time commitment, nor does it require a finely developed PC Engine-esquely acquired taste. It's 40-ish minutes and even has a full English fan tran. You have no excuse, you cretin. Well, no excuse other than just not wanting to, which is valid and completely respectable.